A little emotional when I ask him what the impact you've had on his life. What does that mean to you when you talk to these guys and become kind of a big piece of what they are becoming?
You know, I look at it like I'm their father away from home. I look at it like I'm gonna treat them like one of my boys, one of my children, and every one of them's different. You know, just like having children. Everyone's personality is different. Everybody has different needs. But Foster and I grew very close. I think he and I were a lot alike in the way we play football. So I'm glad that he said that, but I'm glad what he's done for LSU. So it worked both ways.
Randy had a lot of nice things to say about you the other day. He talked a lot about what kind of your impact you had on his life. What do you remember that moment when you saw him in the weight room and you kind of gave him that advice to maybe get into coaching?
Well, you know, I remember him. I was a young coach at Miami, and I remember Randy being a coach on the field. And I remember sitting in the meetings with Jimmy Johnson, sitting in the meetings with Dave Wanstead, Butch Davis, Dave Campbell. How about that? You know, we're all together, and they would say Randy would be a great coach. And I agreed with him. And then when Randy came back, I was with Coach Erickson. I said, "Hey man, what do you think about being a coach?" And he said, "Yeah." And then he started working. He's an excellent coach, and even a better man, he's a good friend.
He said you guys haven't talked yet about, but when I asked him about, like, did you reach out to you or did you reach out to him during this? He said probably afterwards.
Yeah, sure. I saw him at the dinner. I saw him at dinner. We hugged and congratulated each other. And, you know, it's business, you know, when it comes down. But after that, we're friends.
You look at a program like UCF and what they've been able to do, and then last year beating Auburn, claiming national championship and all that going into this year. Is a lot of people think that's kind of a fluke. 25-game win streak.
I know how hard that is. It's amazing, the mindset, the culture that they built. You know, when I was at Miami, we would always say there was only Florida State, and in Miami we would say, man, if they'd have some other schools here, they could get some great players. All these great players would go to Syracuse, Virginia Tech. Then all of a sudden they started building that. These guys are getting some great football players that are going to play in the NFL. They can play in Florida State, Florida, and Miami, and they've done a tremendous job. And, you know, when I went to the dinner the other night, I saw what great coaches they have. I mean, you got Brandon Shannon, you got Josh Heupel, you got Willie Robinson, you got some damn good coaches on their staff. So it's not a surprise to me.
The state of Florida has really kind of, since you've been, I mean, we're at Miami, and the state of Florida really has kind of grown when you look at all the football programs and some of the big name coaches that have been around there.
No question. And look at FAU, look at FIU, the job that those guys are doing, South Florida. Those are some tremendous programs. But you know what? It's no surprise with all the players that they have in Florida. I mean, there's enough players to go around for probably 5 more universities.
So, Coach, you mentioned the weather being a little bit cool. You think that'll help your Hogs up front chasing the fast deep offense?
Yeah, we were talking about that last night. I was watching the game last night in Miami.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm glad of the weather. We're going to need it. You know, we're very thin on the defensive line. UCF's going to run around 90 plays on us. And our guys are going to get tested. We're going to have to control the ball on offense to give our guys a break.
When you look at the other side at UCF, what's your biggest concern?
The speed. The speed that they have at the wide receiver position, the speed that they have at running back, the speed and the tempo in which they run their plays, about getting lined up, getting out cleats in the grass. That's where they mess you up. You know, they wear people out in the fourth quarter. You just can't keep up.
Were you surprised yesterday about Devin's comments about the UCF national championship claim?
Yeah, you know, that's, you know, Devin has his own opinion, and I respect it, but I'm not going to make a comment.
You know, yesterday, a couple players, Foster and I think Michael Divinity, said that UCF is coming in here to win another national championship. Do you think they're using that just as sole motivation, or is that a thought that kind of is around the locker room?
Say that again, though.
So a couple of players said that UCF is coming in here to win another national championship. Yeah. Is that just motivation they're using for themselves, or is that a thought that resides inside the locker room?
You know, we talk about us only, you know, and whatever they do, whatever their motivation is, their motivation, that's their stuff. I don't get into that. This is a big game for LSU, and this is about, we say this is about us. This is about what we can control, and our goal is to win 10 games. Whatever their motivation is, you know what, if that works for them, I'm for it. Let them do what they need to do.
But you think the motivation should be on winning 10 games? Is that the top motivation for this team in this game?
It should be for us. It should be us winning strong. And you know, another motivation, we don't like the way we ended the last game. I mean, I'm not going to get into that, but we should have won that football game. And I think we have lost 8 or 9 games here. We have never lost back-to-back football games since I've been the head coach here.
With all the players you're missing, do you think it's even more of a preview for next year?
So at some point, but we don't have our recruiting class in there. You have a guy like Derek Stingley, who's practiced with us 2 or 3 times. Derek would be starting this game. I think Derek is going to be one of the best corners, and that's saying a lot. One of the best corners LSU has ever seen. He's also an outstanding punt returner. So if you look at, you add this recruiting class that we have coming, we still have a couple more to go. I think you're going to see a completely different team. Obviously we have Grant Delbert coming back. Devin has not told me if he's not coming back or not yet, but we're going to have some holes to fill. But we got some good guys coming in.
Coach, you mentioned being thin at defensive line. UCF's offensive line has often been said to be one of the most underrated in the country.
Yeah.
What would you say about them?
I think when you look at them, it's the word execution. They're in the right place at the right time. They execute the right blocks. But here's what happens with these sped-up offenses. It's like basketball on grass. You know what I'm saying? It happens so fast that guys can't get lined up, can't get good clicks in the grass. I don't think that if this team would be huddling up and going at a regular pace, I would say we had the advantage over their offensive line. But that's not the case because the sped-up offense is an equalizer.
Good to talk to you again, Coach.
Thank you.
Is what UCF does, are they reminiscent of any team you've played the last couple of years? Or
Yeah. Missouri. In fact, that was my first.
Makes sense.
It was my first game. It was my first game as head coach, and Dave did a tremendous job, obviously that night. But we were playing them at home. I think we were healthier then. We had Kendall Beckman, the middle linebacker, Devon Gottschall, and we had Jamal Adams, who was the MVP. But we had some good players, and I think that it was about the closest we've seen.
Coach, for you personally, being an LSU guy, really being born for this job, rooting for this team as a kid, how much more special is this story from your perspective?
It means a lot. I think it's special, and it's rare that it happens that way when you are born in the state. Go out. I felt like I got my pedigree at Miami and USC and Syracuse, and was ready for this job. But I feel the state of Louisiana. I feel that I feel more that I need to do a great job for LSU. I think that the people are looking at me. I'm one of their own, but I'm also the head coach at LSU. I feel connected as opposed to someone that would not be from the state. They're there to do a great job, obviously, but I feel like I'm a coach, I'm a fan, I'm a participant, I'm a resident. I know the people, I speak the language, so that's special.
If you had your hand in putting together a time capsule that would, really your imprint on this team, this university, 50 years from now, what would you like it to look like?
Yeah, great recruiting classes, winning national championships, having a dominant program year in, year out.
And last thing, a lot of different personalities on this team. If any of them have a chance of being a stand-up comedian if football doesn't work out, who might be the funnier people?
I think Brumfield. Garrett Brumfield is pretty funny. We go to the movies and he's on the bus and he sounds like he's pretty funny to me.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you, man.
Thank you, Coach.
I know obviously he had to take over Mackenzie Milton. Are there any similarities, something?
Yeah, he looked like a veteran when he walked in there, man. He didn't skip a beat. They're going to run the ball more with him. And he's a runner. The other guy had a tremendous release. Being a scramble. Darryl Mack is bigger, more quarterback runs, but he can throw the deep ball. He's very accurate. He's hard to get down.
A lot of people were comparing Darryl Mack to maybe like Cam Newton. Would you say that's a good comparison in terms of maybe like running the ball?
I hope he ain't Cam Newton. let him develop a little bit more so he gets to be Cam Newton. But he's similar to that. Yeah.
I know. And then last question, who do you think has the best Ed Orgeron impression?
On the team?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess a couple of guys tried, but I hear so much of that that just whatever.
Thanks, Coach.
You know, I do a pretty good coach, though.
I like it.
Is that flattery when people?
Yeah, you know, listen, I'm a big guy. I'm Cajun, unique. My voice is different, so I enjoy it. I mean, listen, it's part of who I am. I'm not going to change. I'm 58 years old, so hey, if guys want to do it, I think it's in a fun way, you know, and I take it as respect, and so I laugh at it. You know.
Brady does a good impression of you. He likes to do it when you do hold that tag. Huh? Give us a hold that tag.
Hold that tag. How about that?
Thank you so much. Yeah.